Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. In some episodes, I'll have guests available to give you even more tips, but in others, the floor is yours. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, and today we're talking about life balance with Kamladevi Sharma. Now, Kamladevi is a professional life coach, business consultant who specialises in mindset and personal development strategy. She teaches entrepreneurs and people in management how to balance their lives and how to thrive. Over 4,000 people have benefited from her trainings, and she's helped over 250 businesses to kickstart a momentum for success. When she started work in September 2017, she was at a time where she was shifting her mindset and co-creating a life for more ease and more flow. She has 3 kids and is building her dream home. We'll have to ask her about that. Building an online coaching business and dealing with life's unexpected challenges, as we often do. She lives in Guiana, South America, and is passionate about sustaining generations via growth mindset coaching. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, building your own home, that's pretty cool.
That was quite an experience.
So, how big is your home that you're building? What goals do you have for it?
It's actually completed. It was a 4 years long process, and we've moved in for like a year now. It was really mind-boggling, you could say, because it was through that experience that I really learned how to shift my mindset from the lack of resources and from scarcity to really being able to acknowledge what is working in my life and to having more gratitude for the things that I do have. So building my home was really an experience of releasing myself from financial scarcity, put it that way.
That is so great. What a fantastic way to look at it. Now, what can your expertise do to accelerate health, be it emotional, spiritual, or physical?
Okay, so my expertise in helping persons to balance their personal and their professional lives can really enhance their mental, their physical, and their emotional well-being. The techniques I recommend are grounded in self-awareness and connecting to one's inner voice. So prior to becoming a life coach, I was in an upper management position for almost 3 years. And I had loved that job more than I had loved myself. So I had begun to work some really long understaffed hours, which resulted in me having migraines and backaches over time. And then I had lost balance. And whilst trying to regain it, um, I had really realized that the art is my mindset and emotional intelligence. And then I became pregnant. And when I was at 3 months pregnant, my health was further at risk, and I had no choice but to leave because the institution had become so accustomed to me over delivering that it couldn't accommodate much flexibility. Now, when I left, I had enough space and time to really go deeper into myself, and that's when I got deliberate to work and staying connected with my spiritual self. And the more I did it, I found that my nausea, my migraines, my backaches, they all reduced. And with continuous work, I find that I'm constantly elevating and I have a clearer vision. So for me, being able to work on our mindset and really implement a personal development strategy in our lives can really help us shift from where we are in our mindset, shift our mental abilities, our mental capacity, bring balance back to the body, and take control of our emotions altogether.
That is fantastic. And how great that you could see that time to change, to make those changes in your life. Now, we talk about wealth here on this podcast. Now, wealth is not always financial, it can be personal and emotional. What are your top 3 tips to creating wealth?
For me, wealth is important. First, let me just make that clear. It's important. Financial wealth, personal wealth, emotional wealth. But we can't recognize it if we're not self aware enough. So, my number one tip is to nurture our self awareness, to become more aware of what we're thinking, how we're feeling, and whether these thoughts and feelings leading us to behaving and what are we becoming with them? Like, how are they allowing us to react to the situations that we have on our hand? Because it is through our thoughts and emotions that we really create, and we create financial wealth. So the more we nurture our self awareness, the more we become the leader of our thoughts and the leader of our emotions. I find that that in itself helps us to really expand our thinking and improve our point of attraction. Now, secondly, um, visualizing and affirming positive self talk. For me, if we can visualize the things that we truly desire in our life, whether it's a personal commitment, whether it's financial gain, or really taking control of a specific emotion within us, if we visualize ourselves in that perfect moment, living the life of our dreams, and being the ideal person with the ideal wealth that we desire, then we can bring that into our reality. Not only visualizing too, but really affirming that it's possible, affirming that you're worthy of it, affirming that you are loved, you're loving, you are full of love to give. And when you do that, I find that it really helps you to align what's happening inside. It helps you to bring that balance on what's happening inside, and you keep on attracting what you desire from the outside. And lastly, make self care a priority. And I'll always say this because the more you recognize your worthiness, the more you tap into your sense of well being. And you recognize that if you don't take care of you, no one else will. And you can't pour from an empty cup in particular, then that's when you really start feeling that sense of fulfillment. And when you're feeling fulfillment, you find that the simplest things in your environment or the simplest things that you attract into your life brings fulfillment, and that in itself is wealth. That in itself is really feeling into the grace and the gratitude of life, and really being able to share that level of fulfillment with those that you connect with. And that is wealth. That is personal wealth. That is something that no one can really give you, but you can only give to yourself. So those are my top 3 tips. And I mean, it sounds different from what I've known many coaches would have taught, but to me, it's really important that we recognize what is wealth and how attached we are to wealth and what we like to create and what form of wealth we would like to create. And whatever form, whether it's personal, financial, or emotional, I think when we nurture our self awareness, when we visualize and affirm positive self talk, and when we make self care a priority, we can gain all three once we're doing it habitually.
That is so true. I completely agree with you on all of those. And yes, definitely nurturing your self awareness will help you in all facets of wealth. Visualizing and then affirming positive self talk will help you get the direction that you need, and making yourself a priority with self care. Definitely. That is just so great. Now, We often talk on this podcast about weight loss. It's something that many of the listeners battle with completely needlessly, but nonetheless, it is a big factor in lives, whether it be needing to lose weight or needing to gain weight. Have you ever struggled with your weight? And if so, what was the trigger to lose it, or what can you offer the listeners to reduce their stress? We know that stress is a key issue in weight problems.
Okay, so I've had three pregnancies in the past 4 years, and I struggled with my weight shortly after my third pregnancy. And the trigger for that was really feeling stuffy in my body and not feeling in control of what was happening. Like that didn't resonate with me because of my constant work in being self-care. So when I assessed my body, when I looked at it, I wasn't comfortable. And because I wasn't comfortable, I wasn't feeling my stomach in particular. I couldn't stand it anymore. So I hired a yoga trainer. And when I took that step, when I took that action, that really made me feel so good about myself. That made me feel so worthy of having someone personally train me to get back into my body and take control of what's happening with me. And that sense of personal attention, that sense of love and care from someone giving me their attention really like awakened me to why people hire me in the process too, because that's how I really understood that this is the kind of attention people like. This is what they want, that one-on-one personal training, that one-on-one coaching, so that they can really get guidance and they can know where they're headed. So when I took that step to hire a yoga trainer, that was the best thing for me. And in relation to stress, like, I believe that it is important for persons to practice meditation and to deliberately set intention to do the things that make them feel excited, to do the things that make them feel alive and well. For example, like walking, doing some yoga, playing with a pet, stargazing. You can read a book, you can do some dancing, whatever feeds your soul, do it. Because at the end of the day, stress is really a trigger to stimulus outside of you, right? So when you can't process the busyness, when you can't process busy energy and things coming at you too quickly, then you feel overwhelmed. They attack your emotions. So what you want to do, you want to stop them before they trigger this response within you. And it pushes you to the extent of you feeling stressed. So this is where it comes back to really nurturing your self-awareness and becoming emotionally intelligent. Because when you do that, you recognize when something is triggering your overwhelm, when it's going to trigger you to the extent of feeling stressed. And um, if you really want to help your weight in losing weight, then you want to know to what stress does to you. How do you react to it? So I know a lot of persons, they resort to binge eating. And even I was at this stage, like after my third pregnancy. And I caught myself in the process, like while doing it over and over. It's like your hands have like an elastic. So while doing it, I realized that this is not me, and this is why my body feels so stuffy, and I don't want to feel this way anymore. Like I really want to get back into my body. I want to feel myself, because with me feeling myself, then I know that more creativity is flowing. I'm more focused. I have a clear way of thinking. I can see where I'm heading.
That is so great. I just want to touch on meditation. I'm really glad that you said whether it's walking, yoga, playing with a pet, stargazing, reading a book, dancing, whatever. So for me, I'm one of these people that I can't sit still and quiet for that amount of time. Like when I was going to yoga frequently, we'd get to, I think it's called the Shavasana at the end, and I would fall asleep because it was the only way I could be still. For me, 80s music here in Australia is where it's at. That's my meditation. So I will put my iPod on and I will play bands that I used to go and see back in a time when I was more connected to self, feeling more free. And I just love that music, that getaway. It takes me out of my head and I can just dance around my garage because I've been told not to dance around the house. The kids are embarrassed by me now. So I'll dance around my garage to this 80s music, and every stressful thought just departs my brain. And I feel energized and almost like my life force has been rebuilt. So, listeners, it doesn't matter what form of meditation you choose, connecting with self is the goal, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I completely agree. Because, you know, with every action that you take, with every movement that you make, you're shifting energy. And that's what's important for you to recognize is that whatever you do, whether you're going to be cooking, whether you're painting, even if you choose dancing, whether you choose to walk, whatever you choose to relieve your stress, it could even be a shower. As long as you are moving, you need to recognize that you're shifting the energy, and you need to set the intention that I am shifting the energy. You need to tell yourself that I want to shift this energy. I don't need to feel this way anymore. And the more you do it, is the more you become in control of the process. And those things that really once triggered your stress no longer have power over you. And that's something that you really want to recognize and gain control of as you're elevating and growing and taking on different responsibilities in the different roles that you play in your life.
Exactly. And this is where coaches like you and like me can really come into our own, that we can just give people that insight into what is their form of meditation, what is going to relieve their stress. Sometimes it's easier to reach out to a coach rather than try and sit there and work it out on your own. And just having, that other set of ears, that shoulder to lean on to help you find the path that's right for you is just so invaluable.
Yes, I do agree. And that's exactly why I hired a yoga trainer, because I used to do yoga on my own. Like I would go and Google the poses, but it had just came to the point where I didn't want to do that anymore. And I knew to myself that I would not have found the time because it was just like 6 or 8 weeks after delivering my last child. And because of that, I was like, I would become more committed if I paid someone and they're giving me their attention, and we'll get it done right in our session, right at the time that we're making contact with each other. And this is super important when we're trying to work on ourselves, because when you don't take the help of someone, you find that you can work against yourself in the process of trying to learn, trying to heal, trying to transform, trying to co-create. You work against yourself because you can get confused. The anger and frustration and even the sadness that you bring up, you can get sucked into them. In other words, you may not know how to heal them. So you just go through the cycle of replaying the experience and sitting in the experience all over again rather than coming out of it with the lessons. And when you work with someone, you find that they can bring you out of your trauma with the lesson. You can heal and you can keep on moving forward. It's really your choice whether you want to move forward and at which pace. Because when you work with someone, it's done so much faster than when you do it on your own.
That is just so true. Now, we talk here about uh, health, wealth, and weight loss. We've touched on all three already. Out of those, what do you think your biggest learning was in becoming a coach? Was it changing your health? Was it creating wealth? Was it reducing stress? Like, where do you think becoming a coach fit in more with you?
For me, it was wealth and stress because of the lack of wealth, which was financial wealth for me. At least the lack of the amount that I wanted, or what I felt I needed at that time, that resulted in me feeling stressed, with me becoming imbalanced. So when I worked on that, when I worked on my mindset in that regard, I began to align with the experiences and the people and generally the situations that helped me to elevate and become a better version of myself. as well as evolve those that I was working with.
That is so good. Evolving, that's really the key, isn't it? It's not being stuck in who you were yesterday. It's creating the new you for today. And that evolving is a continual process. I think we sometimes, set a goal and go, well, once we're there, it's great. But then what
Mhm.
happens after that? You have to be continually evolving.
Exactly. It's not just a one-off thing, right? Every day, a new experience will bring about a new trigger and something for you to learn and grow from. We're always evolving, and it's just a matter of knowing how to deal with whatever life throws at us that will help us to keep on evolving because we can heal an experience, we can grow from it, we can evolve from it, but something else may come our way that will prevent our growth because we're not applying the same or we're not applying the technique that we need to help us to grow past the issue. So it's really important that we recognize that challenges in particular will always be there in our lives, but it's really up to us how we choose to deal with them and how we choose to grow from them.
Exactly. Do you have any other tips you'd like to share with the listeners?
Generally, life is what you make of it, and you're worthy. You're worthy of living your best life. You're worthy of having balance in both your personal and your professional life. You're worthy of feeling fulfilled in everything that you do and being successful at the same time. And it's possible. If you believe that it's possible, it's possible. It's just a decision that you have to make within yourself to allow it to become your reality.
Fantastic. Now, people can find you at revive.coach and on
No.
Facebook at Revive Intuitive Life Coaching, on Instagram at revive.intuitivecoaching. You're also on LinkedIn and you have a YouTube channel. Can you tell us about that one?
Well, the YouTube channel, it's Revive Intuitive Life Coaching.
So, we
Yeah.
do freebies for our listeners here. We really love paying it forward and giving more information. What can you offer to the listeners?
I am delighted to offer a free assessment on your current life's balance to help persons to really restore that balance in all areas of their life. So, this free assessment will really help you to get an understanding of the story you're telling yourself subconsciously. So, for example, if you're not taking that vacation, it could be because you don't have the money to take it. But you feel as if you don't have the money to take it. It may be affecting your stress and it may be affecting your family and your friends and the kind of balance you have in all the other areas of your life. So when you really get an understanding of what's happening right now when you take this assessment and you recognize the factors that are contributing to your story, you'll also get a strategy on how you can restore balance, how you can shift your story for to feel more fulfilled and to have that level of balance that you desire in your life.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, Kamladevi. This has been a fantastic chat, and I look forward to staying in touch with you and learning more about life balance. To all our beautiful listeners, please jump onto that freebie, jump onto revive.coach and to those social media handles. Support Kamladevi because she's there to support you. Now, coming up in episode 27, you have me talking about internal water flow. Then in episode 28, we have Elise Peck coming to talk to us about sexual energy. In episode 29, we have the gorgeous Inga Truscott talking about essential self-care with essential oils. And thank you so much for your time today, listeners. We really hope that you got enough out of this episode to start creating your perfect life balance. And for now, please go forth and create your magical life. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review, and share this podcast. You can follow us on Facebook at A Magical Life Podcast or at Holistic Natural Health Australia. That's holistic with a W. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies, and more.